This is Zuri, and you've once again found Talk Yarny to Me. Welcome to my room. The reason I'm in here today is, I hope you can hear me. Let me speak up a little bit. The reason I'm in here today is because the sickness has hit our home. I've got it. My mom has got it. My husband doesn't yet. I don't think my son has it. He might have brought it in the house because he was a little bit sick on Tuesday. I didn't think to test him. He stayed home. He was sick when he got home from school. Monday, said he was tired and feeling a little sick, and he had been sick over the weekend at his dad's house. And this is my cat Fuzz. You can probably hear my dog scratching, one of my dogs. And I let him stay home Tuesday, and then Wednesday, even my Tuesday afternoon, he was feeling fine. So I didn't really think much of it. And Wednesday, I went into the office to work, and I was feeling tired. I thought I just wasn't getting enough sleep. I was feeling tired. And by Wednesday night, I just wasn't feeling well. So I called into work yesterday, and then when my husband got home, he was like, did you take a test? And I was like, well, no. And then I took one. I'm sick. My mom started coughing. Was coughing yesterday, wasn't feeling well. So I was like, she's probably got it too. So we tested her this morning, and she is sick as well. So we are both locked in our rooms for the most part. And yeah, my husband slept on the couch last night, which don't tell him, but I didn't mind too much because this is my room this is my house from before we got married. It's our house now. It's my room. This is my bed. And I'm still like, why do I have to share so much with you? But it is what it is. But anyway, the good news is that being sick and not working for a couple days, I got to do a good bit of knitting. So I'm gonna show you guys what I've done. Starting with the things you already see. Starting with those things. So first of all, this is the one I've worked on the least. It's the baby blanket, the heart baby blanket. I guess I need to come a little closer. Let me get on the edge of the bed here. I've worked on this the least because it's the least fun, for one. Like I said, the pattern's kind of wonky. And then, I don't know, it's repetitive though, but the end result is it's nice. So I made it through one row of yellow hearts. I'm on the right side, yes. And then I gotta do one more row, and then I'll change back to green, and we'll go from there. But I'll probably do that. Maybe I'll do that today. This is like the project I've been neglecting. I guess I'll just stay standing up. You don't see I'm just wearing like basketball shorts. So, excuse everything that you're seeing here, forgive it all. The second thing is my friend's blanket. I think when you guys saw it, I think I was just on this middle part, which is supposed to be the center square. It's more of a center rectangle, just the way the yarn. This is not the yarn that the pattern calls for, so it doesn't work out exactly as a square. But once you get going, like here, let me fold down this part. So this is the end of, and fold back this part. So this here, lean back a little bit, is after 4 rounds. So you do the center rectangles or squares, and then you do rounds of triangles. So this is after, I want to say 4 rounds of triangles, maybe 3. Excuse me. Right, and then I did this part here, which is the beginning of the 5th round, and I'm on this part here. So as you see, you do a triangle, and then you do the adjacent triangle, and it makes it into like one side, and then you just go around. So that's what I'm doing. I like the way the colors are working out. Hopefully it's got that good 90s bright color vibe she's looking for. I know purple is her favorite color, so I'm glad. I wish there was more of it. Both of the yarn colors that I'm using has a lot of green in the middle, and so the greens are very similar, so they kind of bleed into each other, which I think is kind of cool. I actually kind of like that effect, but I hate that it's pooling in so many places, but it's okay. I think now that we're at the bigger triangles, that it's not gonna be so noticeable, because pretty much it'll go through the whole color transition probably in one triangle or two. So this last row, this one is the 5th set. According to the pattern, should be the last round of triangles, and it's supposed to make like a lapgan size, but because this is not the same, right? Even though it's still supposed to be a 4-way yarn, This is because I guess it's just not working up the way the original yarn does. It's much smaller. So even when I finish this, I don't know that it would be a lapgan, but I'm gonna go around a few more rounds. What I did with my mother-in-law's blanket was I went around, I think, one more time, maybe two. This one I have, so this is, right now this is the end of the first skein of the brighter colors. And so I've only used one skein of that so far, and then this one that I did yesterday is like the beginning. Like I changed skeins in the middle of it somewhere, I think. Right here, the beginning of it. So, right here. So like I just started the second skein of like the blues and green colors. So it's gonna be, so that's only like not even, I'm on the third skein overall out of 8. So I have more than enough to make it as big as I want. It's just doing the math to like extend it out farther than it, you know, goes. So I did it last time, it worked out. It still was a nice little square. So I think that shouldn't be an issue. And we'll just go until, if it gets, you know, if I can use all 8, great. If I don't use all 8, and then I'll probably make her daughter some hats or something cute with it. They're all 3 of them are like little unicorn babies. I think they'd love it. So, and I'll make sure that they're a gift. I'll be like, the blanket you can pay me for, but the hats are gifts. So those are the 2 things you've already seen. And then on to the new thing. Okay, so on to the new thing. You've already seen those. Back in 2020, I had the great idea of making on a whim, because I saw it in a group, like literally on the 31st or the 1st of January, I saw all these posts about temperature blankets. I was like, what is a temperature blanket? So I looked it up, and I was like, I can do that. And so I ran out to the store. Actually, my cousin had gave me for Christmas that same year a couple of skeins of Karen Simply Soft, and then I went out to the store to I kind of looked online to see what they had and kind of planned out my colors. I ran out to the store to get them. I had to order a couple, but I was like, I'm gonna do a temperature blanket. Excuse me, hold on. It's cold coffee. And I did my temperature blanket up until June, and then I abandoned it. And you would think 2020, there's a year to do a temperature blanket, it'd be 2020, because there's nothing else to do. And there was nothing else to do. But one, I just got behind, and then catching up got overwhelming. And then 2, I did it. What I did when I started it was I did 1 row in each direction every day. Whereas I think most people go down and back, because that way you have a full row. And I was doing it in garter stitch. So I thought it was 1 row a day. But I quickly realized that doing that, when you change colors, and in Atlanta, you change colors almost every day. When you change colors, you just get those pearl bumps, which I hate. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Where's it? Get off of there. Like, here. Let me find a good one that's like really noticeable. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but especially for people who aren't knitters, like you can see where it changes, where you change color, you get a row of pearls in that color. And I hate that. Like, I like a nice clean transition. Don't sniff my coffee fuzz. I like a nice clean transition. He's gonna knock down my camera because I know he's gonna walk behind. He's gonna want to walk behind where I'm gonna kick him out. The dog is on my thing. We'll see. The dog is like antsy because the cat won't pay any attention to him. And the cat is just like, hold on a second. Come here, baby. I don't want you walking across my, no. Get over there. I think he wants to go to the door. He rarely comes up here, but I think because me and my mom have been locked in the room for for the last day or so. He's feeling lonely downstairs. Usually there's someone to hang out with him. Either I'm working from home or my mom's home or whatever. And then Timmy, go sit down. Go. Leave him alone. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit. Leave him alone. Let him live. And the dog, he doesn't mind the dogs, but my one dog is like gets so focused on him because he won't pay any attention to him. Like, he's just like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing there? Hey. My other dog doesn't care. Stop chilling my flowers. My other dog doesn't care, so they're fine with each other. But Hammy's just too much for him. He just wants to stay away from him. Anyway, yeah, so my temperature blanket was, yeah, I had the pearl bumps, and I didn't like the look. For the most part, I love the way it felt, but I didn't like the look, and because I was only doing one row at a time, and Simply Soft is a relatively thin 4-weight yarn, like it just wasn't even gonna be long. I was like, well, maybe if I go the whole year, it can at least be a lap blanket. But I was like on at June, and it was only like maybe here. It was not very long at all. So I was like, this is not even gonna be long enough to be a blanket. So I ended up abandoning it. And then eventually I was like, well, I gotta do something with this yarn though. Like, I don't want to throw it away, So my brilliant idea was to make hats. I didn't even frog it. Like, I just took the end, I cut it, and I took the end and I knit it off the end. So it just knit back. So I made this hat, which actually I love. It came out really well. So I made this hat, right? And this is with the last couple rows, the last few rows that I knit. And so I was like, I can do that, and then I'll just make hats with them. The only thing is, and it came out good, and it's soft and it's warm, but the only thing is that I did the magic knot for joining the ends, because there's, when you do a temperature blanket, especially in Atlanta changes temperatures every day, and so there are so many ends. I just did magic knot. I was like, I'm not weaving in all those ends. And so I just did magic knot, and I was like, it's the edge of a blanket, no one's gonna care. And so there's like several rows here. You can feel where they're little hard ones. Like, let me find one that's really visible. Like this one here is like a really visible one. Hold on, let me find it. You see that right there? Very visible, and you can feel it. So it's not that big a deal, but I don't want to give them away with all these little knots in it. So that's the only reason I don't have it made more. But now I think crochet will hide it better. So I'm gonna try to crochet a hat and see if that hides it better. But it just comes out really warm. Like, I like it. I wear this hat all the time, and I love, like, this is persimmon color in Simply Soft, and this is mango, and I love the way they look together. Like, this is like, once I got to this part of my temperature blanket, I was loving it, because it's like, oh, this will go great together. So that's where I gave up. When I got to colors I was really excited about. Let me let the cat out. Go ahead. All right, you go ahead then. The cat didn't go. The cat didn't go, but the dog ran out. And then he looked back, but I was like, I'll let him back in a minute. He's the one that really likes to be here with me. I've been in my room all day, and he's just been curled up in a corner. Usually he's right under my bed, but he's curled up in a corner on a blanket. So anyway, I still have tons of Simply Soft though that I had to use. They just been in a box since then, because I'm not using them anymore for my temperature blanket. Some of them I didn't even touch yet. And so I was like, what am I gonna, I never really thought about what I'm gonna do with them. They're just there in the stash like everything else. But I was just looking at tutorials and podcasts the other day, one day last week, and I came across a granny square one. And when I first started learning to crochet, I found this, I wish I could remember what it was. I found these great tutorials that taught you the basic stitches. And once you did the basic stitches, the next video was like, okay, I'm gonna show you how to make a granny square. It's a very basic thing. It's a basis of a lot of patterns, etc. I started trying to do that. I could not get it. So I just put it aside. I was like, I'll learn that another time. But then I came across this granny square blanket tutorial, and I was like, let me give this another try. And she happened to be using Simply Soft. So I was like, oh, I got a ton of Simply. I actually had some right next to me in my room. Actually, I had this one. This is persimmon. So this was right there in my room, right next to me. So I was like, all right, let me grab it and I will just try it. And it came out really well. So I was like, okay, I got all that Simply Soft. And then a lot of it was just only a little bit left, because I'd gone through spring and the beginning of summer and the end of winter, doing my temperature blankets. There was a couple of them that only had, didn't have a ton left. And so I was like, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this pattern, this temperature blanket. Not temperature blanket, granny square with my leftover Simply Soft. So that's what I did. Well, that's what I started doing. I'm working on it now. So I started, first I was going to start with the persimmon, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, some of them I have even less yarn. So I took the 3 or 4 that I had the least yarn with, and I started with those so that I could at least get around enough times. You know, once it gets bigger, obviously I'm not gonna, you know, so I was like, let me start with the smallest amount. So started with this yellow, which is Sunshine. The green, I don't remember what the green is called. And then this orange is Mango. And then that's like all of the very small leftovers, like scraps that I have. Those are maybe like a third of a skein, less than half a skein for all 3 of those probably. And then so I just finished with the Mango today, and I added on the persimmon. So I have that, and then I have, hold on. Dug them all out of my crates. I have this white, which is what I was using in between months. Is it just white? Off-white. Doesn't look very off-white to me, but I guess. In the camera it does, but like when I use it, it looks white. And then, I don't remember what colors most of these were. I know I used 1 or 2 of these ones, which is like a rosy color. Ginger Peach. This one I think is one of the ones my cousin gave me. My cousin gave me this one for Christmas. And another one. And this is, I want to say this is called Pagoda. No, I had another or something. I think it's called Pagoda. I really like this one too. This is like one of the colder temperatures, which obviously I should probably put this on before the persimmon, but oh well. And then I had these 2 purples. I think I switched them out. I originally was gonna go with one and I changed the other. I got these 2 purples. I got this lilac, which I think I use a little of. This is one of the colder ones. I've got this. It's called Plum Wine. I don't remember if my cousin got me this one. Or either this one or this one, the pumpkin. I used a bit of this, I believe. And then this red, we didn't even get to it. This is for the hottest temperatures. Excuse me. And now that I'm thinking about it, I know I have like a, this almost, not turquoise, but this like deep green. Do I have a color? Is that color in here? Like this deep blue-green. I need to find it because I don't think I had a lot of that. That was what I used a lot in the winter. So it's probably like 40s temperatures. So I need to go downstairs and take that out on my box and figure out where that is. Pretty sure I didn't use it at all yet. I mean, I didn't throw it away yet. I'm gonna have to get off of here in a minute. So I'm gonna keep going with this, at least through some of the warmer colors. See how big it is, make a nice little blanket, and then maybe I'll use like the cooler, the colder, like the blues and the greens, the colder colors and the purples for something else. Who knows what. So there's that, and then, oh, I'm so sorry. And then the last thing I've been working on, I started this yesterday when I knew I wasn't gonna go to work. I know that there's like some channels that are doing like bag o' day, hat of the week or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's a good way for me to practice and use up yarn. Cause okay, like I said, I'm trying to destash. So this is gonna like, I've already got, just with this, I already got like 3 half-used skeins out of my stash. So great. So, I was like, this is a great way to destash or just practice my crocheting. So I was like, I'm gonna try to do it this week. So I, sorry, my nose wants to do weird things. So I like grabbed this pattern yesterday once I knew I was gonna be just at home all day, and I started working on it, and I like it. Okay, so you can see it. It's called the, I don't remember. I don't think it has a name. It's just like knit beanie, but it uses like cluster stitches. So there's a row of single crochet and then a row of cluster stitches. You cast on. So this took me the whole morning, just not cast on, the chain, the initial chain of 60. And I just do it, and then you join. And every time I join, I did it like 5 or 6 times. Do 60, join, and it would always end up twisted. Even like I would start it and I would like join it and I would like make sure that it was straight. I'm like, okay, it's straight. And I would start doing the single crochets in the foundation row. And then I get to almost the end and it's twisted. And it was like so many times, like I almost gave up. But I was like, the only reason I didn't give up is because there's so much yarn barf like from pulling out the center, and I was like, I at least want to get it to the point where like I don't want to leave this like this because it's gonna end up tangled up in a box somewhere. And so I kept trying. I found it. I think I figured out what I was doing wrong. I think I was, after I joined, I think I was turning it around to start the first row or something, or just going, it was doing something, because the last time I did it a little different and it worked out. So I was like, whatever mistake I make, I'm not going back, because like I might never be able to chain this on again. And so I went around and around and it's going good. I actually got further than this, but my count got off somewhere and ended up with like a little bump. Like right, so this is like, you can see the seam kind of is a little bit crooked. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like the seam is right here. And it goes crooked, that's normal, I believe. But like it was like right here. I was probably like 2 more rows, maybe 3 more rounds up, and then I noticed like my count was off, and I thought I could just roll with this. So I kept going, but eventually I saw this little hump up here. So I was like, okay, let me go back. So I ripped back a lot. I ripped back to like here maybe, or here, I can't remember. And I think what's happening is that you chain one before you do the row of single crochets, or you chain one before you do the cluster switch stitches too. And I'm having a lot of trouble like identifying which is the chain one and which is the, like, it's just, I'm having, especially the row of single crochets, like, wait, where's the chain one? Where does the last row stop? And where is this, you know, where is the first stitch start? Because that's what you join into, the first stitch, and not the chain one. And then so what I did was, once I got to a point where I was like, okay, there's definitely 60 stitches on here, I started just putting a stitch marker in that first stitch there so I don't lose it. And then when I come around, I know exactly where I'm going. So that's helped. I've done a couple rows with that, and like it's still, I'm not off yet. So those are the things I'm working on. Yeah, and then so probably stuck in my room for the rest of the day, definitely tomorrow, well, most of the rest of the day. Definitely tomorrow, probably Sunday, probably Monday. I'm gonna try to, I don't have to go into work, but I'll work from home. And then Tuesday, cross fingers, my son has a doctor's appointment that I have to take him to. He's got to test some tests he's got to do. So hopefully he'll be better, or I'll be better by then, and he won't be sick, because I don't want to have to postpone it. It was already months out, and the only reason we got the time we did was because I think they had a cancellation when I called. So yeah, but I mean, the good news is that I got a lot done. I got to learn a new thing. Like I'll try to remember to put I'll find the tutorial I did for the granny square, because it worked really well. It was really good. And I'll link the bag of day tutorial as well for you guys. But yeah, I'm having fun, at least in that. You know, there's nothing I love more than sitting in my bed all day not doing nothing. So, you know, don't tell my husband, but this is great for me. I do not mind at all. Don't tell my bosses either. I'm like, oh guys, I'm so sorry, I'm sick, it's COVID. And they're like, oh no. And I'm like, yeah, oh no. I don't mind at all. But I'll come back next week. Hopefully I'll be better. I won't be sniffling. And we will talk about it. And I'll show you. Hopefully I'll have a whole blanket for you to show. Maybe that other blanket, I don't think that'll be done. Once you get to the bigger triangles, they take longer. I'll have a hat for you to see. I can show you now. It's supposed to be like a really, I don't know, this looks huge. And I know it's probably because like knitting, let me look at the difference. I guess it's not too much of a difference. You know, with knitting, you usually cast on your brim with a smaller needles, and most people do a ribbing, so it kind of bunches in a bit, but the width of the actual hat is not that much less. And there's, you know, knitting always has some positive ease. I don't know the difference. This just looks huge, but it's not a stretchy fabric at all, so I can kind of understand when I put it on. If I try to put it on, no, like it fits pretty snug to my head, even with all my hair. So I don't know if it's so snug that it's probably not a point of me. I don't know if I'll keep it, because I can't really wear it with my hair. It'll smash my hair down every day. But we'll see. Maybe I will. Because, you know, like my hair don't just bounce back. Like when you have like the afro or curly 4C hair, like once you smush it down, it's pretty much it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit further. She went 14 rounds, including the setup row at the beginning. I think I'm going to go a little bit further to give myself a little more room, and then see how it feels before I start decreasing. She went 14 rounds and started decreasing. I'm gonna go a little further and start decreasing, and then that'll give me some more room, a little slouchier. I like my beanies fitted, but I also like my hair to fit into my hats. So it's a delicate balance, but hopefully I'll have that done for you next time I'm on. And until then, you guys have a great rest of the whatever evening, morning, day, week, whatever you're watching this. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I know no one needs to listen to 25 minutes of me rambling, but you did, and I really appreciate that. Have a great week. Love you guys. Bye.